I'm here today with Steve Ward, who's the MD of Business Gift UK. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you.
Do you want to just kick off, Steve? Tell us a little bit about Business Gift UK, please.
Yeah, I'm delighted to. My wife and I started the business in 1985 when we were expecting our first child. We both had busy jobs in advertising and we thought we may never see this baby. So I was all over the north of England with the Yellow Pages in those days as a sales manager. And we started selling ads in phone boxes and promotional gifts out of our home in Great Sankey near Warrington.
Okay, and so who are you currently working with? What type of customers are you currently working with?
Primarily, we work with fellow SMEs. Over the years, we've found it's much easier to deal with people, with your peers, so to speak. With raising the business, bringing the business up with children, it was for a long time more of a lifestyle than a chance to conquer the world, so to speak, in business. And the easiest way to get money out of people and get decisions out of people is to talk to people who can make those decisions and pay the bills. So talking man to man to other SMEs, I've always found to be a very easy way of doing business and a very easy way of building trust and confidence. So you get the repeat business, which is the really easy stuff. And we're blessed to have a lot of loyal customers, which has been the way we've grown gently over the years.
And I guess you straddle quite a lot of product categories and market sectors.
Yeah, we do. We do have a history with having started by putting adverts in phone boxes. We dealt then with a lot of taxis, breakdown recoveries, private hire companies, and those sort of things. So there's a lot of the transport sector that remain as part of the customer base, and hence an awful lot of our offering with promotional gifts tends to be with keyrings. We're one of the biggest distributors in the UK of the classic ad loop keyring. Probably seen it before with the loop, with a message that runs round where you can put your name and contact details into someone's pocket. So yeah, a lot of the motor trade and small businesses dealing with people and transport and cars and anything that needs a key.
So that's very interesting to me, Steve, because that tells me if you've got a lot of the trade still that you started off with, you've got some pretty loyal customers.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously there's a churn in any business, but yeah, I've just been doing some work for a taxi firm in Blackburn, Silver Line Taxis, run by a guy called Jacob Ibrahim, who I've known since virtually day one. So yeah, it's nice to have some continuity or a lot of continuity with quite a lot of clients.
So what is it that creates that loyalty, do you think? What differentiates you from other options that might be out there?
I think primarily it is the fact that we will, deal with people as our peers. We will get to know them, understand their needs, and then try and meet those requirements. And I think the biggest thing of all in business, if something starts to go wrong, you fix it darn quickly, and you fix it good. You fix it better than good. You make it better than it was. It used to be the old philosophies of the likes of Marks and Spencer, but it seems to have disappeared from a lot of industries these days. But we still will do those. We go the extra mile. If something's going wrong, we make sure it's put right. A lot of what we do is for events, and events have deadlines. So we will never promise something that can't be delivered, but we will find something that we can get there on time.
Yeah, brilliant. And I guess you've had trials and tribulations through the years, and I'm imagining COVID was a challenge at the time. How did that go for you?
It certainly was. For us, again, being very event oriented, it was like a tap being turned off. So we had to make some quick and profound decisions. We had our own little industrial unit where we were distributing a lot of the key rings from in Bamber Bridge near Preston, and we couldn't sustain that. Fortunately, my pension fund had bought the unit because I'm getting to that sort of an age now. So we were able to let it out to somebody else to get an extra income stream to pay the pension, and we went back to short-term working from home and then into a small managed office within the zone in Leyland, where my son still runs the business 9 to 5 there now. We were 7 people pre-COVID. We're 4 now, or well, temporarily 3 because we had a very good apprentice who's just been headhunted by somebody else. So we'll have to find a replacement in the near future.
Yeah. Okay. And what changes had to come about as a result of COVID then? How did you?
The biggest thing and the most interesting thing for me out of that was when we put the stock to a fulfillment company who pick, pack and distribute those keyrings for us, which we used to do ourselves in-house. And you just, I couldn't appreciate the time saving. I mean, I knew that it's quite consuming managing stock handling, and I thought we were quite efficient at it. But when you're not doing it at all and paying somebody else to do it, and you're saving the wages that we're doing that, it was quite an innovation. So yeah, so we were profitable again before we got back to similar turnover pre-COVID, having outsourced the fulfillment side of things, which was a real learning curve. Somebody been in business for over 30 years anyway.
Yeah.
I just hadn't appreciated it before.
Okay, so that's a bit from the past. What about the future? What does that look like? How much challenge have you got going forward?
Yeah, well, the future now is about succession. We've for quite a while now been very proactive on eco-friendly UK and UK manufactured products. Sort of our keyrings are manufactured here in the UK rather than being brought in from the Far East, and that's now transferring that business to my son, who, as I mentioned, runs it 9 to 5 from the office now. I keep an eye on the marketing and the books, and really now it's helping him to step up to the next level as he takes it forward. And I'll start looking after his daughter, my granddaughter.
Right. Okay. When do you anticipate that being?
It's over. We're doing it as a gradual process. I am now down to 3-4 days a week, 4 in the winter, 3 when the golf course is open, and that we're not putting a hard and fast time scale on it, but we would think probably by the end of 2023, I may step back and just do the books or something or whatever, but it'll be an evolutionary process rather than a quick change.
Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, so no, I'll remain in place to help Ben and hold him in until he says he's fed up with me hand holding, and then I'll go.
So that 30 years that you mentioned, what have you learned along the way?
I think you've got to look after your customers. You've got to talk to people. You've got to communicate well. But perhaps one of the best bit of business advice I ever got was from my very first bank manager, Mr. Mort at Barclays Bank in Ormskirk. So I was setting up, he said to me, there's 2 fundamentals here. He said, you make a business plan that is profitable, that shows a profit. Then you manage the cash flow. And he said, that's it. He says, that is essentially what running a business is all about. And he was very profound, but quite right, really. You've got a good plan, and a plan doesn't necessarily end up being the road you go. The plan gives you a basis from which to adapt and change and make decisions. And all the time while you're working that plan, you keep an eye on the cash flow. You're going to do okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And over and above that, what advice would you give to anybody starting off in business?
If somebody's starting off in business, I do all the homework you can. Talk to as many people as possible. Get opinions, and get opinions from people who you may not think you like, whatever. Don't just talk to all the people who are going to say yes to you, or all the friendly people who are going to say, oh yes, what a good idea. Go out of your way to talk to skeptics, to talk to other people, and leave your mind open and get a broad view of opinion. And if you still believe in what you're doing after that, then maybe you're going in the right direction. But yeah, be very open, be very broad, do as much research as you can.
Steve, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. Great advice as well.